The first recorded encounter between humans and the Krylith happened 120 light-years from Earth, during the final decade of the Pan to stellar expansion. At the time, humanity believed it was the apex species of the Orion spur, curious, ambitious, unstoppable. Fear had once shaped humanity's early civilizations, but by this era it had become something of a myth. Humanity had outgrown fear, or so it arrogantly thought. The Krylith changed that. They were a species spoken of only in rumors from fringe prospectors, tall, insectoid, chitin-plated beings with mandibles sharp enough to shear through titanium. They moved with predatory precision. They hunted in total silence. Whole outposts had vanished after their sightings. To human explorers, the Krylith became a whispered warning lurking in deep space. But the truth, buried beneath layers of panic and misunderstanding, was that the Krylith were not a species defined by violence, not originally, not until humans taught them. Beginning the mission, Lieutenant Commander Mara Kessler had never believed in monsters. She'd served 9 years aboard the research frigate ISR Valiant, conducting first contact surveys across regions most humans would never hear about. She saw the universe as a sprawling archive of wonders, superionic planets, fungal megastructures, nebulae that glowed like cathedrals. She believed every species was born of its own context, its aggression or caution shaped by survival, never inherent evil, which is why she volunteered to investigate the Krylith. Valiant received the distress signal from outpost Pelion -8 at 0430 shipboard time. A garbled transmission, only 6 words intelligible through static. "They're watching us through the walls." The message cut off with a shriek. By the time Valiant arrived 3 days later, Pelion 8 was silent, not destroyed, just empty, as though every person had stepped out for a moment and forgotten to return. Meals still sat half-finished. Magnetic tools hovered in mid-air over abandoned workbenches. Air recyclers hummed steadily, but no bodies, and no struggle, just a single word carved into the bulkhead of the central lab. Krylith, Captain Adrian Solano, a strict officer whose caution bordered on paranoia, immediately ordered a lockdown and a total sensor sweep. "No exploration until we understand the threat," he insisted, but with no heat signatures, no biological traces, and no structural damage, the data meant nothing. And the longer they hovered, the more Mara felt the weight of the unknown pressing in on her. "We won't learn anything sitting here," she told him. "Scanning an empty outpost only confirms it's empty. We need to look closer." "Closer," Solano repeated, troubled. "Or deeper." "Same thing, sir." In the end, Solano relented. He always trusted Mara's instincts. She'd saved the crew more than once. So Mara formed a 3-person recon team, herself, engineer Sanvi Patel, and xenobiologist Dr. Rowan Hale. They entered Pelion -8 just before 0900. For the first hour, everything was routine. They catalogued abandoned stations, recorded environmental readings, noted eerie inconsistencies, doors stuck halfway open, personal logs wiped clean, air fresheners spraying at set intervals, as if tending to ghosts. Then Sanvi found the residue, a faint line of dark, glassy secretion along the inner hull. Hale examined it with a handheld spectrometer. The analysis returned immediately. Unknown biopolymer, high resonance, carbon nitride matrix. "This isn't human," Hale whispered. "Or if it is, it's been changed." They followed the residue. It led them to the mining deck, to the elevator shaft descending into the asteroid's hollow interior. Pelion 8 was built to harvest ytterbite, a rare crystalline mineral used in warp drive stabilization. Only the elevator cable was severed. Claw marks dug deep into the metal. Solano's voice crackled over comms. "Team A report," Mara swallowed. "We found traces of a non-human organism. We're descending into the lower tunnels. You do not have authorization." But his voice was drowned out by a deep, resonant clicking echoing up the shaft. Not mechanical, organic, and then something else. Something softer, almost human. A whimper. Hale's eyes widened. "Someone's alive." The clicking grew louder. Something was climbing toward them. Middle. The revelation. Mara's team retreated to the maintenance ladder along the shaft's inner wall. They climbed down to a secondary platform 60 meters below, their helmet lamps cutting through swirling dust. Something moved at the edge of their vision, shadows bending wrong. When they reached the platform, they found the source of the human sound, a young man curled beneath a broken vent, shaking violently. His name tag read J. Reuter, Geology. He was dehydrated, bruised, and half-conscious, but alive. Mara knelt beside him. "Reuter, can you hear me? What happened?" He clutched her forearm. His voice was hoarse. "Don't blame them, please, don't blame them." Hale and Sanvi exchanged confused looks. "Blame who?" she asked. "The Krylith. They weren't here for war. They were scared." Mara felt her stomach drop. "The Krylith scared?" Reuter coughed violently. Blood flecked his lips. "We provoked them. We didn't mean to. Gods, we didn't know. Their hives, their nursery chambers, we drilled into them. The mining team broke straight through." Mara felt the cold realization spreading through her chest like ice. "They thought Pelion 8 was abandoned rock, but it wasn't. We dug into their home," Hale whispered. "We invaded their nest." Sanvi backed away, shaking her head. "No. Pelion 8 was evaluated with deep core scans. There were no life signatures detected." Reuter nodded weakly. "They're infants. They have no electromagnetic resonance. They're invisible to our scanners. We thought the tunnels were hollow, but they weren't. They were incubators." A low vibration trembled through the metal walkway. Then another. Sanvi's voice quivered. "They're coming back up the shaft." "No," Reuter rasped. "They never left." The clicking returned, louder, closer, surrounding them. Shapes emerged from the darkness, silhouettes shifting like nightmares, half-formed, tall, armored, with limbs jointed in too many places. Bioluminescent streaks glowed along their thoraxes, pulsing between deep blue and furious red. 3 Krylith warriors landed on the platform with silent precision. Mara froze. She expected aggression, mandibles open, claws raised, but the Krylith only stared at them, waiting, terrified. Their glowing markings flickered erratically. Hale whispered, "Those patterns, they're distress signals." "How do you know?" Sanvi asked. "Because they match the warning displays of hive swarm insects on Earth. They're scared. They think we're here to harm them again." Mara lowered her weapon slowly. "We're not here to hurt you." A memory tugged at her mind, one of the earliest xenology files she studied in academy. If a species' fear reflex is more advanced than its aggression reflex, it will appear hostile even when terrified. The Krylith weren't monsters. They were defending their children. Mara switched her helmet speakers from directed audio to broadwave frequency, a universal signal used to show peaceful intention. She knelt, palms outward. The Krylith shifted, one stepped closer, its mandibles opened slightly, emitting a series of high-pitched clicks, almost like questioning chirps. Hale recorded the patterns rapidly, overlaying linguistic predictions in real time. "They're asking if we're here to take more." "More?" Sanvi echoed. "Mothers," Hale said softly. "The mining drills killed several." The platform trembled. Above them, something enormous scraped against metal. A larger Krylith descended. The matriarch. Her bioluminescence was dim, flickering weakly with grief. Her chitin bore fissures from mining blasts. She looked not like a predator, but like a wounded giant holding herself together through sheer will. She approached Mara. Every instinct screamed to run, but Mara stayed still. The matriarch extended a limb, placing its tip gently against Mara's forehead. A soft vibration filled the air. A message, a memory, a warning. Mara gasped. She saw the mining drills piercing nursery chambers. Tiny larval bodies shredded before they ever opened their eyes. Terrified Krylith fleeing through tunnels filled with dust and fire. Limbs reaching for infants they could no longer save. And then she saw something else. Humans approaching with weapons drawn, mistaking panic for threat. A worker Krylith attempting to shield an infant was gunned down before it could even gesture. The humans had fired first. The Krylith had only defended themselves. The matriarch pulsed with sorrow. Mara bowed her head. "I'm sorry." The matriarch's glow brightened slightly, acknowledgement. Then something shifted behind her. One of the warriors jerked violently, mandibles snapping outward. Its glow turned crimson. Hale scanned rapidly. "Mara, something else is coming. What? Sanvi whispered. A terrible metallic groan echoed from deep within the shaft. A second species emerged. Mara felt her blood freeze. They were not Krylith. They were human-built, security drones. Hundreds of them. Valiant must have deployed them when comms were lost. Solano, acting out of fear, had made the worst possible assumption. Mara! His voice crackled over comms. Multiple hostile contacts detected in the tunnels. Drones engaging. No, she shouted. Cancel that order. They're not hostiles. Static swallowed the connection. The drones opened fire. Middle, the chaos. Drones swarmed into the shaft, blasting suppressive rounds blindly into the dark. The Krylith shrieked, a sound not of rage but of pure terror. The matriarch shoved Mara aside, shielding her with her massive frame. Shrapnel tore through her chitin. She collapsed. Mara scrambled to her feet, firing at the drones, not to destroy them, but to force them to redirect their targeting algorithms. Sanvi shut them down. I'm trying! Sanvi screamed over the chaos. They're not on Valiant's network. They're running autonomous threat logic. Override it. I'd need direct access. The Krylith warriors charged the drones, driven not by vengeance but desperation. Blasts tore through them, but they refused to fall until the last infant chamber was protected. Hale dragged Ryder toward the shelter of a collapsed tunnel. They're defending their young. Mara, the drones won't differentiate threat levels. They'll wipe out the entire species. Mara knew what she had to do. Cover me, she said. For what? Sanvi shouted. Mara didn't answer. She ran straight for the matriarch, who lay trembling, her glow fading. Mara knelt beside her. I can stop this, but I need your help. The matriarch blinked slowly. Mara pressed her hand to the matriarch's thorax, near the bioluminescent core. The Krylith communicated through resonance. Vibrations channeled through their exoskeleton, through ground, through air. If Mara could amplify the matriarch's distress pattern and broadcast it through the metal structure, she could turn the entire outpost into a signal, not of war, but of surrender. Please, Mara whispered. Teach me. The matriarch's mandibles clicked softly. Then she reached up, touching her limb to Mara's chest. A pulse surged through Mara's body. Resonance, rhythm, pattern. Her bones vibrated with the encoded frequency, the Krylith signal for ceasefire, for protection of young, for peace. Mara activated her suit's external speakers and linked them to Valiant's emergency broadcast amplifier. She inhaled, and she roared the Krylith call. A deep, resonant vibration exploded outward, rattling every bolt in the outpost. The drones jerked, confused, their targeting reticles distorted, their threat recognition algorithms faltered. Sanvi seized the moment, diving to a maintenance panel and jacking in her override module. Come on, come on. The drones whined, stopped, fell motionless. Silence. Fell. Mara collapsed. The matriarch rested a trembling limb over her. A gesture of protection returned. The Krylith warriors gathered around their wounded leader. Hale exhaled slowly. You did it, Mara. No, she whispered. We all did, even them, ending. The consequences. Recovering from Pelion -8 took 3 days. Ryder survived. The Krylith did too, what few remained after the accidental massacre. They carried their injured matriarch into deep tunnels where their surviving nursery chambers lay hidden. Before leaving, the matriarch touched Mara's forehead one last time, sharing a final pulse of gratitude but also warning. Fear breeds fear, terror breeds terror. Choose carefully which you teach. When Mara and her team returned to Valiant, Solano was waiting, pale and shaken. He had seen the drone logs. He had heard Mara's broadcast. He understood the gravity of his decision, one made from fear, not reason. I nearly caused a species-wide genocide, he said quietly. No, Mara replied. Humanity did that the moment we drilled into their home. You just repeated our mistake. The Valiant filed the first accurate xenosociology profile of the Krylith, clarifying they were not predators but a hive species with advanced emotional intelligence and a deeply rooted fear reflex. In the following months, the United Terran Coalition formally apologized to the Krylith. Treaties were written, reparations made, and ambassadors exchanged. Mara was appointed as the first human liaison to the Krylith Hive Conclave. The Reddit thread, in which she anonymously recounted her experience, circulated widely. Under a simple, chilling title, they inspired fear, but humans introduced them to terror. Some readers dismissed it as fiction. Others recognized the truth buried within the story. Monsters are rarely born. More often, they are made. And sometimes, we are the ones who make them. And in the quiet spaces between stars, where fear still lives, still learns, still spreads, Mara carried the Krylith's warning with her. What humanity fears is not what will destroy it. What humanity teaches fear to, might.